B1 family, welcome to Blacklogic. Discrimination, racism through classism, through your status. As you can see right here, family, prejudice against or in favor of belonging to a particular social class. Class discrimination, also known as classism, is prejudice or discrimination on the basis of social class. It includes individual attitudes, behaviors, systems of policies, and practices that are set up to benefit the upper class at the expense of the lower class. Well, in politics, they play a political game based upon your intellect, based upon your social status, dealing with your class. Whether you be a scholar or intellectual, someone who graduated from college, maybe you're the middle class, maybe you are the blue collar class. They speak to the very same thing in order to garnish your vote, in order to obtain your vote. It states here, what is an example of classism? Most commonly, classism occurs when people from lower socioeconomic classes are viewed as lesser than upper class counterparts, automatically judging others to be lazy or unhygienic because they are poor. Now, we have to also understand that classism also is based upon where you live and what state, because there's different costs of living depending on what state that you derive from, the state of your domicile status. The relative social, professional, or other standings of someone or something, the position of affairs at a particular time, especially in political, commercial context. It's very interesting because as we start with classism and status, classism is the systematic oppression of people based on their social class. See, some people believe there's no racism in America. Kamala Harris, she stated that. There's no racism in America. Vivek Ramaswamy. There's no racism in America. What's the last name? Politician Scott Guy. But the discrimination is predicated upon your class. It's predicated upon your status, because classism is the systematic oppression of people based on their social class. But when you link them, family, which is because classism, social class, is often linked to your economic situation, your education, and your profession. You know how some people get treated differently because they wear a suit? Maybe they are a consultant. Maybe they are a business person. They get treated differently than your electricians, your HVAC specialists, your plumbers, etc. Because status, on the other hand, can be more fluent and multifaceted because it includes economic status, but it also considered inherited wealth, club memberships, and social standing. Because sometimes when it comes to status, if you are a part of an elite club or a very hard to get in membership, they will look at you very different, like you are higher than what they thought you were, or now you're in the confounds of the upper class. Because status also includes economic status, but again, it could be inherited wealth, club membership, and your social standing. Because think of classism as a rigid ladder. Classism is a rigid ladder that we are forced to climb, while status is more about where you stand on the ladder and the perks you get from being there. Because sometimes your status can be connected to the people you know. You guys, think about it like this. You may be a plumber. You may be a social worker. You may be making less than $60,000 a year, okay? Which kind of puts you in the middle class. And depending if you make less than 40 grand, you're now considered somewhat in the lower middle class or the lower class. But based upon the people you know, could rank you higher in a status. Well, when you think about it that way, family, the way the government talks to us, foundational Black Americans, it varies drastically based on our class. If you're in the lower economic bracket, they're sending rappers, comedians, movie stars. They're sending all types of entertainers your way. Why? Because they think entertainment is the only language we understand. It's patronizing and is demeaning, reducing our rich culture to mere distraction. And this is what the Democrats have done. And don't play the fool when it comes to Republicans. They pay the exact opposite. They pay the exact opposite. I see Dr. Feelgood in the room, Tana Marie, Devin Haley, Iron Will. Nice to see everyone in the room, Muscle Man 25. Thank you guys for joining me here this evening. But we're going to talk about it, family, because foundational Black Americans, we have been fooled, hoodwinked, and tricked to continue to vote for either side, mostly Democrat, but they speak to us and they patronize us, believe it or not, in most regards to our class. We really need to break this down. I don't think we need to beat a dead horse when it comes to the disproportionality and discrepancies with Black Americans and how we essentially fall in and out of the middle class based on COVID-19, based on who's in the presidency, based on who your local officials, and how that directly affect us, okay? This is back in May 10, 2022. It states that Black Americans, those with less education, are more likely to fall out of the middle class each year. Okay? It really doesn't matter your job. Let's look at this. Let's look at this very quickly here. It states here from 2020 to 2021, around a fifth of Black Americans at 22% experienced a setback from the middle income tier to the lower income tier, compared with 15% of white adults and 12% of Asian adults. 12% of Black adults moved up from the middle class to the upper income tier, compared with 18% of whites. And as we can see here, you can see moved up from the middle to the upper income tier, Hispanics at 8%, Black Americans coming in third place at 10%, and then moved down from the middle class to lower income tier at 21%, compared to Asians and whites at 14%. And who was in office during this time? Now, this is back in 2000, 2001 to 2020 into 2021. So that's a long span to gather this data to give you these metrics and for you to understand that it really didn't matter who was in office. There still is a racial wealth gap. And depending on who's in office really didn't matter to Black Americans, because we're still going through some systematic economic oppressions. It's not fear-mongering, family. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. Here we go. About half of upper income Black and Hispanic adults slip down the income ladder in a typical year. Smaller shares move up from the lower income tier. And you see that the numbers are depicted here, okay? It states here, financial well-being and economic stability are also stronger related to education. In 2021, the share of adults in the low income tier ranged from 13% among those with at least a bachelor's degree to 57% among those with a higher school diploma or its equivalent. Now, Black people having a bachelor's degree is equivalent to white people having a high school diploma. This is why, as foundational Black Americans, we must get our education and or a trade. Now, a trade will pay off more quickly than a degree, but if you have aspirations of working for a corporation, or even in some regards starting your own business, but if you're an inventor, there's different sectors here, family. I don't want to lose you. But the point of the fact, or the fact of the point, is that we have to be educated, or we have to have some sort of skills that is in great demand. It states here, conversely, the share in the upper income tier varied from 5% among those with less than a high school education to 39% among those with at least a bachelor's degree. Are we seeing that? Are we seeing that? And family, we have disparity. So disparaging, excuse me, throughout the foundation of Black American culture because we don't have the resources and funding for our schools and our school systems because we know that money is mostly deflected into other areas because if majority of Americans, I won't say majority of Black Americans, but we're sitting around 40% of Black Americans in the middle class. So in these middle class neighborhoods, why is education, why are the schools still falling apart? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. Now, family, I don't know if you guys are familiar with blackdemographics.com, okay? But blackdemographics.com, they get their information from the U.S. Census Bureau, okay? They just made it pertaining to us, which I absolutely enjoy. Bear with me here. Black middle class by income. It states here, Black household, we're looking at middle class income at 36%, so roughly 40%. The working class, that's the blue collar workers, okay, at 25%. Working class poverty at 13%, and then poverty at 19%. So when we do the numbers, and bear with me here, I'm just going to add this up on my calculator right here. Give me 1 second. 57% of foundational Black Americans are in the lower class or poverty class. We only have 3% in the upper class and only 4% in the upper middle class. And we compare that to everyday other Americans, we see that they rank higher and that they have a low poverty rate. But some people don't believe this is systematic. Okay, Thomas Sowell, a lot of these bootlicking people who are coming out here stating that we have the same opportunities, that we're treated the same, which is false, family. But they want you to put on the cape for Kamala Harris. They want you to turn blue to red. They want you to vote for Donald Trump, especially those who are in the upper class, especially those who own their own business. They're going to cater to you based on your class. They're going to cater to you based on your status. How do they cater to lower class Black folk? How do they cater to lower class Black folk?
Some of her dance moves to Vibrant Thing by the rapper Q-Tip. This video has gone viral on social media with more than 16 million people watching that clip. It looked like they had a good old time at the event. VP Harris partnered with the Recording Academy's Black.
Now, I want you guys to ask yourself a question. You only see these politicians every 4 years. And to the especially the so-called Black politician. Well, let's let the cat out of the bag. Can we do this? Is Kamala Harris a Black woman? Someone put in the chat for me. Is Kamala Harris a Black woman? Now, if we're basing that she's a Black woman off the one drop rule, then you got me. But if you base it off her DNA, and of course, I don't know the accurate numbers of her DNA. I'm going to base it off her mother and father. Her mother, okay, allegedly is 100% East Indian. Her father is 50% white Irish and 50% Black Jamaican. So when you break down basic simple numbers and percentages, Kamala Harris is 50% Indian. She is 25% white Irish, and she is 25% Black Jamaican. So what is she majority of? But everybody, these Democratic shills, people part of sororities and fraternities, not all our brothers and sisters, those so-called divine nine people, not all of them, but a great many are putting on the cape for Kamala Harris, calling her Black, simply because she went to Howard University and she pledged AKA. Do you know how many non-Black people we have cosplaying of Black Americans? What was the white lady's name who had the cornrows and Rachel Dolezal or something like that? She was cosplaying as a Black American for quite some time. We know these things, family. We know that people cosplay as Black Americans all the time. But who are they pandering to? They're pandering to the lower class Black Americans, unfortunately, our brothers and sisters who are still living in poverty, our brothers and sisters who are going out to work, working hard, and they're being fear-mongered and they're being tricked that they're voting for a Black woman. They're being tricked. They've been hoodwinked. They're being bamboozled. They're being manipulated to thinking that Kamala Harris is a full-fledged Black woman. Family, she don't even have a Black American experience, except by the way of her college. Does anybody know where she was raised? Wasn't she raised in Canada somewhere? Wasn't she raised in Canada somewhere? Yeah. And this is her. And I believe that the young lady she's with, I believe she is either Bangladesh or an Indian, or she's from Nepal. Okay. And for some reason, family, we got to stop being tricked. We have to stop being tricked, because for middle class Black Americans, the strategy shifts. Lower class, they want to entertain you with Sister Girl. Oh, Kamala, Sister Girl. Van Jones got on national television and stated that Black men are going to protect Kamala Harris. He lined his ass off. It's not a, wait a minute, who's attacking Kamala Harris? Who's attacking Kamala Harris? Is it verbally? Is it socially? Is it physically? No, we're just stating facts. First of all, we're not protecting a Black woman. Some people are like, oh, nah, brother, you know, the one drop rule, man, she just mixed. Okay, you go by the, I told you, if you go by the one drop rule, you got me. But when has Kamala Harris ever stated that she was a Black woman? Now, I know a lot of you are going to say, well, they stated that, you know, she's an East Indian and she's a Black American. No, absolutely not. And we have to stop perpetuating that lie. Because I know some of you prominent Black folk, some of you upper echelon Black folk, some of you upper middle class Black folk have a great majority of your family in the lower class. You then went off and got your degrees and your certifications and your licensing, and you're doing very well. You love to invite your family over. They see your nice big house. You got your Benz, you got your Lexus outside. They congratulating you. Oh, man, you're doing so well for yourself. But you're letting them be fooled by the Democratic Party. You're letting them be fooled by the Republican Party, because they're not offering Black folk anything. See, the way they pander to middle-class Black Americans, the way they pander to them, they shift their strategy. The Democrats start to pull out the fear card, right? They can't really relate to those middle-class Blacks, because a lot of those middle-class Blacks, you know, they got the bag. They're making anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000. So instead of relating to you through rap music, instead of relating to you, oh, I make greens. I make the best greens. I boil water and I throw them in there and I clean them up. They don't do that. They use fear-mongering tactics, warning us about the big, bad Republicans and their overt racism. And here's the thing, family. I have so many people on my different social media, whether it be my Twitter, my YouTube, my TikTok. Guess what they do? They say, oh, you just want people to vote Republican. No, I don't want you to vote against our best interest. If the Democrats are not offering policy specifically for Black Americans in the form of reparations, in the form of a Black anti-hate crime bill, then why in the hell would we continue to vote Democrat? If the Republicans are not doing just as well we're asking from the Democrats, then why in the hell would I tell you to go vote Republican? They play on our anxieties, suggesting that the GOP racism is somehow more dangerous. Listen, that the GOP's racism is somehow more dangerous than their own brand of subtle systematic discrimination. As the Democratic Party, Why in the hell have they allowed 20 million illegal immigrants inside the country and allowed the GOP, the Republicans, to drop those illegal immigrants off in the black communities? And when it comes to the upper class, the high class black Americans only at 3%. It's about the money. Democrats come to our upper echelon blacks, those entertainers that you see like Plies. They come with financial incentives, hoping to use these well-off individuals to sway the rest of us. But Republicans, meanwhile, they appeal to their business acumen. They appeal to their business sense with the promise of tax cuts and business incentives. It's a game of who can offer more to keep the influential few on their side, all while ignoring the needs of the foundational Black American family. It's time we wake the hell up, family. This is probably one of the most important elections. Well, if we're not going to vote for the Democrats and we're not going to vote for Republicans, who we going to vote for, Blacklogic? The couch. Sit your ass on the couch, watch the Olympics, and get a handful of nuts. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Because we have to let somebody fail in order for us to succeed. We have to let somebody fail in order for us to succeed. Because, family, here's the kicker. None of this pandering leads to real, tangible benefits. They're going to tell you, hold on. They're going to tell you, where is it at? Give me a second. They're going to tell you that democracy as we know it, okay? And I have to break this down really good. They're going to tell us democracy as we know it. Now, this white boy here, he broke it down, right? Because he was talking to another white boy. Fair use. All video clips used in accordance with this video is under the federal regulation of fair use. Here we go.
Florida, Donald Trump casually promised to end American democracy if elected.
Harry, once again, we are not a democracy. America is a constitutional republic. So he can go ahead and destroy the democracy all he wants because we're not a democracy. Fucking do your own research, dude. Quit listening to what the DNC pays you to say. Oh, wait, that would require you to stop lying and do your own research and make your own decisions. But that $200,000 to lie through your teeth is just too much to depart from, is it? Just saying. And don't sit here and try to say you were not paid by the DNC. We can all go see on public record that you receive a shit ton of money to lie through your fucking teeth with left-wing propaganda. So,
all right, he did a bit of cursing, but you get my point, family. He's calling it out of these paid Democratic shields. They're all over the place. They come in all different colors. And they're pandering to all sorts of people. But that is what we get. That is what we get, family. Because when we think about this, none of this pandering leads to real, tangible benefits for foundational Black Americans as a whole. It does not. Neither side is committed to closing the racial wealth gap, enacting comprehensive reparation, or passing anti-hate crime bills that protect us. You guys remember our sister Sonia Massey? You guys remember her, right? Our sister Sonia Massey. They just came out and stated that Sonia Massey didn't even have the pot in her hand. They did a close-up on the video, and they showed that Sonia Massey didn't even have the pot in her hand. What she had on her hand was a pot glove, one of those the handles you put on when things are hot. I forgot the name of it, but you know what I'm talking about, family. Shouldn't even have the pot in her hand. That police officer killed our sister in cold blood, and to this day, we do not have an anti-hate crime bill. And police still have qualified immunity. And here's another thing. Whether it be state police, local police, federal police, all of these people have some form of qualified immunity. Think about on a federal level. If you guys ever did your research on the 11th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, you will see that federal officials also have a form of qualified immunity, meaning that these guys can do no wrong. They can do no wrong. But this is all about securing votes to maintain power. Here's the thing. If the Democrats are the party of the people, if the Democrats are the party of the poor people, how can the Democrats continue to obtain and garner votes from Black Americans if we move into a higher echelon, if we move to a different status, if we upgrade to an upper class? You know how? They keep you poor so you can continue to vote Democrat. Oh, Democrats are the party of the people. The Democrats are party of the poor people. Well, how long are you going to be poor? Is the Democrats going to ever help you to get into another echelon? Absolutely not. Are the Republicans are going to pay Black Americans any attention? Absolutely not. Some people will say, well, Blacklogic, the reason why Black Americans are not getting what they asked for is because they're not putting their dollar where their mouths are. We have to fund super PACs and we have to donate to their political campaigns. If that's the case, then why do they keep asking for our vote? They don't need our money, family. They have all sorts of special interests and special interest corporate groups that pay to these campaigns. Oh, Kamala Harris, in 72 hours, she has $200 million. Okay, and she may inherit Joe Biden's $240 million war chest. What war are we at? They try to involve Black Americans as if we're going to win some sort of reward, as if there's something that we can obtain tangible from. Because the Democrats in particular have mastered the art of trickery, and it's been working ever since the 60s. It's been working ever since Lyndon B. Johnson. They pander to us the most, knowing that a significant portion of Black Americans fall into or below the middle class. They use fear of the Republicans as a tool, all while failing to deliver meaningful change. All the while failing to deliver meaningful change. Can I say it one more time? They use fear of the Republicans as a tool, all while failing to deliver meaningful change. Ask all of these people out here who are on the vote for Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party, ask them how the Democrats changed their lives. Ask them what policies that the Democrats put in place that has decreased the racial wealth gap for Black Americans. Ask them. If somebody tell me the Affordable Health Care Plan Act again, that is significant change for Black Americans, and I would say, well, wasn't that a significant change for all of America? Well, Kamala Harris, she can't just do anything just for Black folk. Oh, but she did something just for Asian Americans with the COVID-19 anti-hate crime bill. She did something just for Native Americans. They did something just for the transgender community. They did something just for the LGBT community, because when it comes to Black folk,
do you support reparations for Black people?
Well, listen. Again,
we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination and segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal, still exists, and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular, Black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the Lift Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of black families from poverty.
So by default, it affects black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you're exploring.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit black children, black families, black homeowners. Because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen. The reality also is any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No, because whatever benefits that.
She told us, family. Oh, brother, she told us, I'm not going to do something specifically for black folk, but I'll do it for the Native Americans. I'll do it for the Asian Americans. I'll do it for the transgender community. I'll do it for the LGBT community. But just for black people, oh, hell no. I'm not doing nothing for y'all niggas. Y'all play, please. But you know what I will do? I'll go to downtown DC to one of the only black record stores, and I'll make a spectacle of it. I'll make it a show and tell.
When shopping at HR Records, it's a black-owned business on Kennedy Street in Northwest DC. Harris greeted the store staff, other customers inside, and then showed off her purchases on the sidewalk in front of the store.
Charlie Mingus, really one of the greatest jazz performers ever. One of my favorite albums of all time. Roy Ayers, Everybody Loves Sunshine. You know this one? So good. It's a classic. And then Porgy and Bess.
Boy, I swear for God, if you guys can see my face, I don't know if you guys are familiar with a show on Prime called The Boys. This picture me beaming her ass with the Homelander eyes. This picture that. I'm tired of it, family. You have to be tired of it. Your family have to be tired of it. And if your family is not tired of it, please educate your family. Please educate your family. Now, some are just going to be stubborn. I've been talking to people in the baby boomer generation. Oh my God, it's so exhausting. You can tell them with 100% certainty, you can give them every statistic, and they still are going to vote blue no matter who. And you ask them, why? I think it's something embedded that Dr. King, they're trying to live on the dream of Dr. King. If Dr. King was here today, I wonder what he would say.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farm. Not only that, many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And this is what we are faced with. And this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
Where are the bootlicking Sambo, Generation X, Generation Baby Boomers, Millennials, Gen Z, whoever? Where the bootlickers at? Where are these Democratic shills at? Because if anybody wants to honor the legacy of Dr. King, then Dr. King is talking about reparation. He's talking about coming to get our check. No one's talking about that. No one's talking about that, are they? Oh, no, they don't want to talk about that. Because family, right now, I hate to say it, we are in a no-win situation. We're in a no-win situation politically because the Republicans, they play a different sort of game. They focus on high-class blacks with higher education and lucrative careers, hoping to peel away enough votes to weaken the Democratic stronghold. But that's their primary strategy. Discourage black voter turnout altogether. That is their primary strategy, right? And some people are like, well, brother, if you don't vote, you're playing right into their hands. Nah, I'm going to sit my ass on the couch because they're doing nothing for black folk. They're doing everything for immigrants. Oh, you're not doing anything for any sort of specific for people? Well, you're doing it for immigrants. You did it for other groups, other racial groups. And we have to understand how the Republicans, right, trying to discourage black voters in the turnout, because this approach worked, believe it, is already tested, tried, and proved. This approach worked. It worked wonders in 2016, contributing to Hillary Clinton's loss and Trump's win. Now, family, if Trump get in office and democracy as we know it is at its end, then why in the hell are we still here? Why in the hell are we still here if democracy as we know it, if Trump get into office? Yeah. See, by making us feel delusioned and powerless, they ensure we stay home on election day as another form of disenfranchisement. But there's a no-win situation because ultimately, we're in a no-win situation, family, because both parties are more interested in our votes or our non-votes than our voices. They exploit our fear, our aspirations, and divisions to secure their power, offering nothing in return. Democrats cater to us more, but it's just to secure votes without providing real solutions. Yeah. Let's get plies. Let's get some collard greens. Let's get some soul food. Let's do a fish fry. Let's get some butter biscuits, and let's tantalize and motivate black folk to come vote Democrat once again and receive absolutely nothing. Now, listen to this, family. Oh, in 72 hours, Kamala Harris has obtained $200 million. What does that do for you? Black people, that's not a win. How's that a win for us? They're just catering more votes. That's all they're doing. They're not providing real solutions. And then Republicans, meanwhile, which I respect to a certain degree, they either ignore us or actively work to suppress our political power. See, on one hand, they ignore us. Like, we ain't doing nothing for y'all niggas. Okay, got you. We know where y'all stand. But on the other hand, they suppress our political power. So some of you are asking, what's the solution? What's the solution then? Doom and gloom, fear-mongering. What's the solution? Family is very easy. And everybody across the Black empowerment space have been telling you guys for quite some time. We need to unite. We need to demand more from those who seek our votes. We can't let fear dictate our choices or allow ourselves to be complacent by empty promises. It's time to hold both parties accountable and insist on policies that address our unique challenges, from reparations and an anti-hate crime legislation to economic incentives that genuinely close the racial wealth gap. What are we talking about? Reparations. What are the solutions for the Democrats? What are the solutions for the Republicans to secure the black vote? Let's talk about it. Cash payments, direct financial reparation to descendants of enslaved Africans, aka U.S. freedmen, aka foundational Black Americans. Yes, indeed. This isn't just about money, right? It's about righting a historical wrong and providing the economic boost needed to close the racial wealth gap. Tax incentive status. I see somebody put that in the chat room. Yeah. Provide us with tax exemptions similar to those offered to the Native Americans, because Native Americans keep getting everything. And family, I'm not hating, as they should. As they should. But we shared this land. There was Black Americans here prior to 1526. And I've been over this before. I won't go there today. But tax exemption status could help build generational wealth and stimulate economic growth within our communities. We talk about a Black anti-hate crime bill. Yeah, we need legislation, stronger protections against hate crimes, targeted Black individuals. And guess what? Some of you like, well, you go and vote Republican, then the police, they're going to have ultimate qualified immunity. Family, they already got that. If you notice in the past 4 or 5 years, there's only been a handful of cops who've killed unarmed Black people to be persecuted, to be prosecuted, to be punished. It's only been a few. So police officers already have qualified immunity and it's working just great. Well, Trump gonna make it airtight. It's already airtight. This is what the Black American family need. This is what the Black American family is owed. Land grants. Allocate land to Black families, particularly in areas where they were historically displaced, because this can be akin to the Homestead Act, but specifically designed to rectify past injustice. Restoration of lost land and stolen land. Investigate and rectify cases where Black families lost their land due to discriminatory practices or outright theft. Yeah, you know what we're going to say? They owe this tremendous amount of taxes, and that way we can come in and pull the legs from out the table and take their land. Because they need to start providing restitution or return of property where possible. That's what they need to do. That's what they need to do. Let's provide some context with that, right? Because when we think about the Homestead Act of 1862 that allowed thousands of white families to acquire land and build wealth, but our Black American family were largely excluded. And when you fast forward that to the GI Bill after World War II, while it helped many of white veterans buy homes and attend college, guess where our Black veterans were? They were often denied these benefits due to discriminatory practices. Okay? That's what we're looking at, family. That is exactly what we're looking at. But this is how your girl Kamala Harris pandering to the Black American family. Oh, black people love collard greens.
Begins. Kamala Harris is using her Black card to get those Black votes by telling y'all that she knows how to make collard greens.
Hey Marlon, so I know how to make a mean pot of greens. In fact, people used to ask me to make greens for them for Christmas. One year, I had so many that I had to wash that we ended up washing them in the bathtub. So I am not playing around. So what you got?
I don't know what's more cringe. Kamala saying that she knows how to make a mean pot of greens or that she used to wash them in the bathtub. But nonetheless, this is interesting. And also, Kamala, I don't want to see a picture of you holding greens with the tag still on it. I want to see the outcome. I want to see the finished product of your greens. Are there any pictures on the internet of that?
Family, we have to pay attention here, family. We have a lot of brothers and sisters out here exposing these Democrats, exposing these Dixiecrats, exposing these Republican Klansmen. We have to stop being hoodwinked. We have to stop being tricked by this BS, because that's what's going on, family. And then we have people like this guy right here, Plies. Oh my God. They use these entertainers to pander to Black folk. Oh God. They saying that Sexy Red is supporting Sexy Red, and what's this guy? Kodak Black is supporting Trump, and family. I don't know what's going on, but you know what? There was a guy on code. There was a rapper / singer on code with Foundation of Black Americans. He's a Foundation of Black American, and said, "Oh my God, this is just bothering me so damn much." Lord, let me get to my post. Hold on, family. Let me show you some of the things. Here's my brother Iron Will. I appreciate the support, Iron Will. That's my brother Iron Will right there. I appreciate it. Thank you, brother, for posting that. I didn't even notice that. But I really want to show you guys, okay, some of the responses I have. I don't really show my Twitter too much, but you can go over to Blacklogic 0 or this Blacklogic. You can find me on Twitter and subscribe to my Twitter page where I make some posts every now and again. Okay. And I want to get to one particular post that I wrote here. And some of these are inflammatory, okay? They may catch fire if you read them too quickly. I say to you right here, foundational Black Americans are top of the Black food chain. I'm not reaching. Let's compare inventions, innovations, prolific leaders, icons, movements, rebellions, triumphs, and culture, and see which of these groups have done more for the world, not America, for the entire world. Let me show you this back and forth I had with this Karen right here, because she didn't like my comment, right? Because they didn't know about not Lizzo. What's this girl name that played Precious? I forgot her name. But nonetheless, I simply stated this. I said they don't know what country, what tribe, their birthday, or who is African. And I'm not speaking about all our African brothers and sisters, okay? I'm not trying to speak in disparaging terms, but the truth is the truth, goddamn it, shit. Okay? I'm not trying to start a culture war or a Pan-African war. I'm not all into that, but I'm just going to state the truth as I know it. And I said, damn, it feels good to be FBA, because it does. Because it does. Because you know what other people don't understand? Family, when you look at some of these other countries, I'm going to say some countries you will know. When you look at Nigeria, when you look at Ghana, when you look at Kenya, when you look at South Africa, when you look at a lot of these African countries, a lot of these Black African countries, they just became independent of the colonial system in the 60s. Don't forget, they have been colonized for hundreds of years. They have been colonized for 100 years. So a lot of them don't know the history because they wasn't taking records. They wasn't doing census records. They don't know 2 or 3, 4, 5 generations back. They don't. Most of them only know from the 60s. So they can never bring smoke to Foundation Black Americans talking about you don't have a culture. Our culture go longer than yours. Don't forget, America became a country in 1776. Black Americans were freed in 1865. Your country was still being colonized. You didn't get independence until the 1960s, most of these African countries. But nonetheless, I digress. Someone says that I look West African. Okay. If we go to a DNA scale, don't all people of the world have African ancestry? Now, being a melanated man myself, I may have a little bit more than a white counterpart. Okay. But let's move on. Uncle Sam laid, this is what Karen said. Uncle Sam laid the foundation. Let me blow this up. Uncle Sam laid the foundation for you. But if you want to brag, then okay. And you literally look like you're from Senegal. So I'm from Senegal, from Nigeria. Okay, I'm all that. And then some. Sure, Doc and handsome, bust a nut and tie your eye and tell you where I come from. Yeah. But anyway, I stated trolls would do anything to deflect from the main point. By the way, Karen, Foundation Black Americans built America, so your so-called Uncle Sam didn't do ish except reap the benefits of having advanced weaponry to enslave people because they are evil and lazy. She comes back. Uncle Sam laid out your Bill of Rights, the freedoms you cherish and enjoy so much. He built your infrastructure. I'm like, what? The school. He give government assistance. Oh my God. He gives you the right to vote for your next leader. Thank you for stating everything foundational Black Americans have done to civilize a country that was barbaric and chaotic, not only to Black Americans, but to each other. By the way, he or it didn't give. We fought for the little we have. Next point. You make no sense and you still look like you're from Senegal. So you're right. Next point. Okay. Be that as it may. So what? There's a lot. We saw Will Smith and Martin Lawrence over there in Africa. Are there Africans that look like Black Americans? Yes. Are there Black Americans that look like Africans? Yes. But be that as it may, you look like you're from the caves of Europe by the way of an African stampede that trampled your being. Sorry for your loss. LOL, you just woke up full of hypotheticals this morning. I'm happy for you, young man. Have a happy Monday. Thanks, man, for bowing out. Have a Mayo Monday. You are providing ignorant and incoherent tweets. Nothing to bow out to your young scholar. And I stated, this will keep you busy. Your turn. Oh, Lord have mercy on Karen's soul. You got to be more careful. You can't outdo foundational Black Americans, okay? There's nothing you can outdo us in. You lucky we live in an oppressive system. Because, boy, y'all be hating our entire guts. We'll be shining, we'll be gliding, we'll be flying. You guys are lucky you created an oppressive system that only a few of us can do well. God damn it. Damn, it feel good to be FBA today. Lord, have mercy on their soul, family. Lord, have mercy on their soul. Let me read some of your comments here. We have our brother Asian Draymond said, I tried talking to my moms about the First Step Act prison reform and asked, why can't the Democrats do this? Cricket, she vote blue, no matter who to her. That's what I'm stating, brother. That's what I'm stating. I understand about people my age, they fail the youth. Absolutely. They say got complacent. I'll trade in every single drill rapper if we can bring Marvin Gaye back. I agree. This is Omasai said, I hear you, Asian Draymond. My cohorts act like they stuck in gear, not aware of domestic policy or foreign policy. We got our brother Iron Weir here championing on those facts. Okay. See, urban renewal, segregation, and redlining. Okay. Condescending as hell, like we really can't see them. In the 60s, when we was over here for hundreds of years. Absolutely. So do I don't even know how to pronounce that, of the Philippines, Solomon Islands. Okay, let me see what else I missed that's significant. Muscle Man stated back here, he stated, I will be voting for Miss Harris just because all you FBA blacks hate on her, but pander to Trump. Oh my God. See, family, here's the thing. A lot of people come to these live broadcasts. They say these inflammatory statements as though they carry some sort of weight. These don't carry any weight, because if the brother stayed for more than 2 seconds, he will understand I go hard on Democrats and Republicans. Okay. Salute to my brother Iron Will. Thanks for the support, brother. I do appreciate your support. Here he goes again. But FBA blacks on YouTube like Tariq Nasheed, Phil Scott, Afro Elite, Black Afro, all pander to Trump. Now, I know my brother Iron Will can attest to this because he's on the FBA streets. You know that my brothers in arms in the Black Empowerment Movement, my brother Afro Elite, my brother Black Alpha, Tariq Nasheed, Phil Scott, Professor Black Truth, Jason Black, we're all on code for one thing, reparations. And we ain't voting for no political party, whether it be Republican, Trump, Democrat, Harris. It doesn't matter if you're not getting what the demands are from the foundational Black American family. That's what they're not understanding. They keep thinking that we're trying to push people to vote for Trump. Hell nah. If you will listen to the Black Empowerment family, where are we voting for? Where are we sitting at during election time if you don't have reparations on the table? If you don't have tangibles on the table for foundational Black Americans, the couch, that's where we're sitting, the couch. Michael Pan says you should think about voting for Dr. Jill Stein because she supports cash payments, reparations for slavery. Lord. I don't think people really study and analyze these one-hit, two-hit bangers. People was telling me the other day that you should vote for JFK Jr. Absolutely not. Or RFK Jr., whatever his name is. Whatever the brother name is. Then people were saying, what happened to Cornel West? Cornel West got ran out of the political run. He got ran out of the political race. Did he not? Family, did Cornel West, did he run from the political race? Is it me? And here's something I pointed out too as well. Let me point this out to you guys. Random guys, let's see here. It says politicians. Pick a side, Black people. This is what politicians tell us. Pick a side, Black people. And this is what Black people state. Foundational Black Americans on code state. Nah, we good. Either side bring anything to the table? Well, I guess not. Okay, cool. Couch 2024. That's easy. That's easy work for me. That's easy work for me. So for those Democratic shills, those Republican, can I say that? Can I say? No, man. I'm myself always getting limited and banned. I don't care. I got to speak my mind, family, because that's what we understand. And I coined the term. I'm just going to point it out here. Kamala Harris is on her Get Black campaign. She's on her Get Black campaign out here twerking for green. She's out here sidestepping with Chuck Taylors on and Timberland boots. Do not fall for it, family. Do not fall for Kamala Harris being black every 4 years. Don't fall for it. As I stated before, she's 50% Indian, 25% white Irish, 25% black Jamaican. If you notice, she has no black American. I digress. Lord have mercy. Let me see what you guys are saying. Iron Will say, interestingly enough, I've only been insulted by Democrat supporters. Not that I'm a Republican or a supporter either. Absolutely. Have you noticed that Republicans are playing a very fair game with Black Americans, and that could be a strategy to get some of our votes, while the Democrats are coming out straight hard for the jugular and disrespecting Black Americans? And they don't just disrespect you verbally. They don't do that. They get Kamala Harris out here serving plates of soul food. We good with food, Kamala. What about them policies? What about that legislation? What about them reparations? Oh, yeah. I'm not doing anything for Black folks. No, we're not doing that. She's not doing that. What Charles Brewer stating? Well, Black American people today, right, have been voting for 60 years and get nothing. And right now, in 2024, the DNC Democratic Party, oh, absolutely. I can't agree with you more. Omasal states that Democrats and Republicans is different wings of the same buzzard circling the corpse. Absolutely. I thought he was black too. Let's see. Mackie Samuel states that it is interesting that someone has finally begun speaking on the topic of social class. And the Eugene Robertson wrote about this book, Disintegration, the Splintering of Black America. Absolutely. See, I like to speak on topics that I know a lot of my Black Americans, Foundation Black Americans may not speak on, but we're still on code with each other because I like to look at it from a different side of things. They all pander to us. They all lie to us. They just do it differently because they know you intelligent ones, the ones that got your bag, the one that got your education, they can't fool you with applies, okay? They can't fool you with a killer mic. They can't fool you with that. You want to see policy, you want to see legislation. So what they do is like, well, we can put you on a payroll as long as you say some very public things. Wait a minute, how many followers you have on Twitter? How many followers you have on YouTube? How many followers you have on TikTok and Instagram, etc.? Well, we can probably donate 50,000 if you can pander to Black Americans. Van Jones, didn't Jeff Bezos give you $100 million? Can you go out here and state that black American men are going to protect Kamala Harris, the sister girl, who's only 25% Black, by the way, of her father, who was 50% white Irish? Family, I'm just stating the truth. Don't beat me up. Don't beat me up, family. Can I just state the truth? Oh, Lord. See, we love the truth, but we hate to hear it. Because once you hear the truth and someone shows you the truth, from that point on, the only thing that I can think of is you're deaf, dumb, stupid, and you have been brainwashed. You're deaf, dumb, stupid, and have been brainwashed. Now, don't take that the wrong way if you're going to vote. I'm not stating that you should not vote. I'm not stating that. I'm stating what I am doing if reparations not on the table. I'm stating what I am doing if tangibles are not on the table. You go do what's best for you and yours. But I can tell you this. If you think you was voting for something, then I must triple down and tell you what the brother said before. You're voting for nothing, and nothing. Be one.